Hello and welcome. I am Aika Rey, and this is Rappler Talk. Joining us today is Salvador Buddy Zamora, the campaign manager of presidential bet Manny Pacquiao. Hello. Hello, Buddy.
Hi, hello. Good morning, Aika.
Yes. So, first, I want to ask how is the campaign so far?
I think we're doing well. In our savers surveys, actually, we're number two. Not that others will believe it, but we tend to believe it because of the turnout we are getting as we travel around the country.
So, number two, you mean to say you've done commissioned surveys, internal surveys? How is this done?
Well, we commissioned two surveys, but I'm not at liberty to reveal who these are. And we're relying on one survey done by a big religious group, and they place us at second.
Mhm. Mga ilang percent nakikita nyo, sir, trailing behind the front runner? And I assume this is Bongbong Marcos Jr., correct?
Yes. I believe that we're within 10 points.
More than 10 points that what you currently have
No,
right now.
about 10 points.
About 10 points. Oh, interesting. So, you're seeing surveys, internal surveys that you've done, number two. And this is done by face-to-face interviews, mobile surveys. I think I just want to ask this because um, in one of the stories that Rappler did, I think Mayor Isko Moreno did mobile surveys. So I'm not sure if this is the same thing that you're doing or house to house or physical face to face.
We do the conventional survey of the usual survey population is 1,200 or 2,400. Frankly, in my opinion, this is too small uh, survey population to be able to say uh, who's number one or number two, considering that we have 67 million voters and maybe about uh, more than 50 will are expected to vote on May 9.
And this is what I mean among the things that what makes Senator Pacquiao, keep going.
Yeah, that's wherever we go, uh, people come spontaneously. Unlike the other groups where uh, they've been caught on camera distributing money. That we don't know. We just rely on. We're relying actually on the popularity of Manny Pacquiao.
Okay. So just stepping back a bit, you're supporting Senator Pacquiao, but I'm just curious, how did it start? Were you the two of you have you known each other long enough for you to support him to be his campaign manager?
Yes, I met then Congressman Pacquiao in 2014. We had the Kia PBA expansion team, and he was interested in being a playing coach for Kia, and we got him then in 2014. Now, fast forward to March 25, 2021. I heard that he wanted to run for president, and I myself went to him. I wanted to see where his heart was, because I heard he wanted to run for president, and he was willing to run against uh, the expected presidential candidate Sara Duterte. So I thought to myself, it would take a lot of guts to be running against the daughter of the incumbent president. So we got to chat at his headquarters then in Dasmariñas village. And knowing that he is a brother in Christ, I then said I would throw in my support in whatever way I can.
So from there, sir, you decided that you want to be campaign manager? I mean, kasi there are
Well,
a lot of ways to support the campaign.
well, sometime before the filing, maybe August or September. I thought there was something lacking, and he did not have a campaign manager. Actually, I was the one who applied for the position. I asked
Mm,
my brother, would you consider me as your campaign manager? And I was surprised by his reaction. He smiled because he was actually considering for a long time asking me, but he felt embarrassed, and he even said I might feel insulted if he were to offer me the position. But I made it a lot easier for him. I was the one who offered my service to be his campaign manager.
okay. So so that's the history, no? I'm just interested, like, have you seen, or at least the public is seeing that there are shifts in how the campaign was done, like hitting front runner Marcos Jr. Is that deliberate? We've seen Senator Pacquiao become more aggressive in saying, in hitting the Marcoses when it comes to their tax issues, when it comes to corruption issues. Is that a deliberate move, or is it because he's the survey runner, front runner?
No, uh, Senator Pacquiao is really anti-corruption. That this is the main agenda. That's why he talks about a mega person, about putting into jail those who have raided the nation's coffers. Aside from he sees the corruption as what uh, what keeps the people poor, because instead of government funds going to social services and uplifting our citizens, they go to the pockets of the corrupt uh,
Mm.
government officials.
But I guess, Buddy, what changed? Because in the earlier days of the campaign, parang Senator Pacquiao won't really name the Marcoses whenever, unless he's asked by the media to comment on some issues.
Well, I think he got to thinking that he had to hammer on the corruption issue. If if you if you were to achieve traction on how uh, we can uh, we can support our libreng pabahay program.
Mm-hmm.
So the 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 money that goes to corruption, which is anywhere from close to 40% already, considering our national budget now is around 5 trillion pesos. If we were to save about 20%, which is 1 trillion, we could devote that to our Libreng Pabahay program and provide the free housing that we are promising to our voters should we win. Or not only to our voters, but to all Filipinos who feel who we feel will be entitled should be entitled to a free home. Our constitution does say that it is the state should provide housing for all for all our citizens.
Mm-hmm. So, sir, you came at a time when the relationship between Senator Pacquiao and President Duterte was was cold. They were basically hitting each other um, on public television. So I just want to ask, later last year, November 2021, the president and Senator Pacquiao met. Is this some kind of and even until now, no, during the debate, Senator Pacquiao would say that the president is my friend. Stop hitting the president. So, do you think was was it a deliberate choice for Senator Pacquiao to hit the president at the time that he did, and when it didn't work, um, he became or he maintained or made his relationship with the president somewhat lukewarm?
I don't think that he was directing the anti-corruption issue against the president. I think he was more it was more directed to some people in his cabinet, perhaps, and people around him.
So not
So
necessarily the
yes, the relationship soured when there was this conflict of PDP Laban.
one,
He
yes.
was the president, and he was removed by the Kusi faction as president. So it was tit for tat. Uh, 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 Pacquiao Pimentel faction uh, moved for the removed also uh, President Duterte as chairman of PDP Laban Pimentel wing.
What's the update on that, sir? Currently, we haven't heard um, because both factions actually, at least Senator Pacquiao ran under Prom D and
From the
PDP
yes,
Laban, they didn't have a candidate.
yeah, that's right. Uh, that's the irony of it. They tried to get PDP Laban, but instead the PDP Laban did not come up with any candidate for president or vice president. Instead, they had resorted to having guest candidates, which doesn't work under the constitution of PDP Laban. You have to be a real member to be nominated.
So, do you think this entire PDP Laban fiasco, um, in a way, have some have taken away some support for Senator Pacquiao?
Well, yes, I'm sure that was a negative because we were united then under the presidency of Senator Pacquiao and PDP Laban, and then some usurpers came in and took the party away from us. That's how we feel. Uh, is what happened. That's why we were forced to look for an alternative political party, and we arrived at Prom D.
And it was a decision from discussions, from negotiations, or was it because somebody offered prom D? How did it went like?
Well, we had discussions with Mimo Espena, chairman of Prom D, and it seems that we had common objectives, which is actually federalization and local autonomy for the LGUs. Those are the two main objectives of PROMD: local autonomy and federalism.
Mm-hmm. So, be, I mean, this schism within PDB Laban, we're seeing a lot of mayors, a lot of governors throwing their support um, behind Marcos Jr. And one of the reasons why, or at least aside from him being the survey frontrunner, is he's running together with Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte. So does that affect the campaign? Seeing that a lot of local officials are actually throwing their support behind Marcos Jr. and Robredo in some way, when Senator Manny Pacquiao is pushing for local autonomy and federalism and such.
Well, actually, it's their choice where they run, huh? But uh, I don't think anybody runs using COC of PDP Laban because it's still under the deliberation with COMELEC
Mm-hmm.
whom to recognize, and I don't think it will be resolved anytime soon
Mm-hmm.
before elections. Maybe after elections we can get back PDP Laban. Apparently, uh, it hasn't worked to anybody's favor,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a stalemate. Nobody
Right.
uses PDP Laban as a political party where they got their COCs.
Mm-hmm. What about mayors and governors and local officials throwing their support behind Marcos Jr. and Vice President Lenny Robredo? Does that affect the campaign?
Mm,
Meaning, it's going to be difficult to ask some of the incumbents to campaign maybe in their areas, or get their support kasi wala eh, na-support na nila si Marcos Jr. and si Robredo.
Yeah, actually, we go to the grassroots. It's a grassroots roots campaign that we are running. We go direct to the people. It's so difficult to be dealing with governors and mayors because they would be beholden to those who dispense the funds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we are at a disadvantage because we're operating on personal funds
Mm-hmm.
of the senator and myself.
So speaking on funds, sir, since you already mentioned that, when it comes to funds, have you received, aside from you and Senator Pacquiao, have you received donations from other maybe big businesses or campaign donors that are there, maybe at the start of the campaign? How did it look like, the
Well,
campaign?
I would say at this point we haven't received much support from other say businessmen or other groups. We just rely on our own. It seems that we are faith based, no? Uh, we say that God will provide. If he only provides us with so much, then we make do with what we have. But we still rely on the outcome, uh, which will be entirely God's choice. Everybody uh, elects the vice president down to the senators, but when it comes to the presidency, we believe that it's a choice of God whether to reward the country with a righteous leader, or maybe we're in for another 6 years of the same thing.
When you
Uh,
mentioned, yes.
yes,
When you mentioned God will provide, I guess my question is how will you fund the remaining expenses of the campaign? Of course, campaigning is very expensive. So I think
yes.
one of the last expenses would be the payment for poll watchers, and this is one of the issues that Senator Ping Lacson actually raised. That one of the reasons perhaps that na yun daw yung reason kung bakit nawala yung suporta sa kanya ng Partido Reforma, at least from what I understand, no? So meron din po bang ganitong klase ng problema na hinaharap, because it's very expensive. I think mga five, how much? I think ballpark figure of around 500 million pesos for that.
You mean for election day expenses?
Yes, election day expenses.
Yes, we have plenty of valuable volunteers, so we're relying purely on volunteers. Uh, we rely on our religious groups to support us on election day and to watch over our votes. So we're relying on our faith and in God that since He was the one who asked, who 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 convicted Manny Pacquiao to run for president, if it is his wish for him to win, he will provide us with all the support that uh, should we win, our votes will be protected by volunteers in our religious with our religious groups backing us up.
So you're seeing a body that um, election day expenses would be more on volunteerism or donations from religious groups.
Well, I think more of donations in terms of warm bodies,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
not not. Well, we of course will have to provide the basics, no, like meals and transportation.
mm-hmm.
But
So how much
we're running a very tight budget.
tight budget? So how much do you
Yes.
think, at least for your camps or maybe conservatively, other camps would have to spend in the last remaining days of the campaign? And
I think 500 million would be a good estimate. Of course, the more you have, the better.
the more the better. But right now, at least
Yeah.
for the Pacquiao camp, it's going to be a very tight budget, as you mentioned.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So, withdrawal rumors. This is one of
Uh,
the yes, one of the issues, one of the stories that often cropped up on social media, no. And in some circles, 'di ba? I guess is there a certain camp that actually asked Senator Pacquiao to withdraw from the race?
well, I don't know who have approached Senator Pacquiao, but in my case, I've been approached several times. If there's a possibility of us backing out, but I don't see any logic in running a campaign and then backing out at the last minute. You see, Manny Pacquiao has has decided long ago that he will run for office way back
Mm-hmm.
in 2019. So he has kept this all this time, and he's not just about to back out, uh, especially uh, during the last few weeks of the campaign. Uh, we've uh, we've heard several blogs saying that they're actually waiting for us to withdraw in a matter of hours. But I can assure you these are all fake news, and these are just rumors based on speculation. And if there's anybody who will withdraw from this race, it will not be us. We will stay. We will stay the course and carry it to the very end.
Mm-hmm. But Senator Pacquiao himself actually said that if he gets a sign from God, he would withdraw. And specifically, he said, kapag napanaginipan daw niya na merong sinabi ang Diyos sa kanya, dun lang daw siya mag-withdraw. Is still that on?
Yes, of
Would
course.
still that happen?
Uh, he relies on divine guidance
Mm-hmm.
uh, all throughout, and that's where his faith is. And Team Pacquiao also has its faith in God. That's why he surrounds himself with people who are like-minded as he is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh,
faith in God and our desire to have a righteous leader for the Philippines.
so even as campaign manager, it would be okay for you in case Senator Pacquiao dreams about not winning or withdrawing. Okay lang sa inyo, sir.
Well, it's his decision to make. No, he's the one running. I'm just I'm just a Freddy Roach who's in uh down outside the ring.
Okay.
Uh, we can only advise, but in the end, it is his campaign to run. It's his campaign to win,
Mm-hmm.
not ours.
So the rumors, body you mentioned, there and there's a specific camp. Were you mentioning? Were you referring to a specific camp that actually asked you to, ipapa-withdraw si Senator Pacquiao?
Well, the logical team to ask that is the number two, so that if we were to add our numbers to theirs, perhaps they would draw nearer to the number one, as is portrayed in the surveys.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not our concern. That is their concern, not ours.
So aside from number two, meron pa po bang iba?
Wala na.
Wala na. Or meron din po bang ibang camp na kumakausap kay Senator Pacquiao? I mean, aside from, of course, ang sila Senator Ping Lacson because macho block sila eh. But other camps, meron po bang nag-try mag-reach out? Unify, whatever talks?
Well, unity is not the word for it, because unity in their terms is others withdrawing in their favor. I don't see how that unity theme works in that context.
Mm-hmm. So, sir, speaking of withdrawing na nga, on Sunday, three presidential bets, Manila Mayor Sco Moreno, ex-Defense Chief Norberto Gonzales, and Senator Ping Lacson were in a joint press conference in Manila Peninsula. So,
Yes.
Senator Pacquiao was supposed to go there as mentioned by his campaign team. What changed? Why did he not go?
Well, he really wanted to go because he promised Senator Lacson that he would be there. But this was a talk between Senator Pacquiao when he was in Jensan, and Team Pacquiao was here, mostly here in Manila, like myself and the political affairs and the comms persons in our camp.
Mm-hmm.
We ourselves were surprised that there was this press con.
Mm-hmm.
If we had the time to advise our candidate, we would have advised him to just stay away from it. But that was his decision. Uh, we're not privy to the conversation between him and Senator Pacquiao and Senator Lacson, whom who we believe to be good friends. So
Yeah.
it was a it was a conversation between friends. So
And
we have to respect Senator Pacquiao's decision to join the press con, but unfortunately, he was prevented from doing so by circumstances. His plane was not allowed to land, and this plane circled for an hour over Manila. And this plane landed just before 2 p.m., I believe, and
mm-hmm.
the press con has already terminated.
So just to be clear, Buddy, no, because Vice Presidential candidate Lito Atienza actually said that Senator Pacquiao never intended to attend the press briefing. But from what you're saying, Senator Pacquiao actually went there because of his conversation with Senator Ping Lacson.
Yes, as I said, maybe Vice President Atienza uh, was not privy to that conversation. In fact, even as we're not aware But VP, our vice presidential candidate, Liti Atienza, was talking from hindsight, no? After the press con uh, had finished already, and the results uh, were not favorable to those who attended. So, in hindsight, it was he said that it, it it was good that Senator Pacquiao was not able to make it.
Do you
But
share the
that was,
same sentiments? Do you share the same
I
sentiments?
yes, considering nobody nobody makes a mistake in hindsight, no, because it has transpired already, and I think the results are speak for themselves. The outcome received a lot of flack. I didn't hear anything positive at all from that press con. Even the venue was uh, was a subject of you know uh, wrong choice. But those were the opinions of bashers, I think.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, hello. So, yun na nga, sir, eh, the reception wasn't good. I think the main question really is, would Senator Pacquiao still sign the statement written by joint signed by other presidential candidates? Because yun na nga, wala siya, he wasn't able to join the press conference. But aside from Mayor Isko Moreno's call for Vice President Lenny to withdraw, meron pa pong joint statement. So would Senator Pacquiao still sign that statement saying that he would not
Uh, well, I don't believe so because he lost that opportunity. And besides, I don't know how much he knew about that joint statement. And I don't even know if he was apprised of the agenda on who were participating on the in that press con. But you know, Senator Pacquiao welcomes any forum that would uh, where he can espouse his ideas and present to the people maybe his platform, and maybe he can tell them that he's not withdrawing at all, and it would come from his own mouth. So that would put to rest all the rumors that we are in fact withdrawing for anybody. But had he been able to appear there, I'm sure he would have reiterated the fact that we are not considering withdrawing at all, and we will continue to the very end.
okay. So we have about just a few days, around less than 20 days actually,
Yes,
before
that's right.
time. What do you think um, would the Pacquiao campaign look like in the next few days?
Well, we will continue to visit places. Uh, Places we consider to be valuable when it comes to votes, we will revisit, and then we will visit places we haven't been to, and then we're planning for a big gathering in April 23. I think there will be three simultaneous rallies from our camp, from Marcos camp, and also Lenny's camp, all running at the same day, April 23. And
Uh,
then we will have our meetings that we would consider that our meeting the advance for Luzon, April 23, and then we'll concentrate on Visayas and Mindanao.
for the next
Y-
few weeks, for the last 2 weeks, correct?
Yes, for the last week,
For the
actually.
last Mindanao and Visayas.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess one last question, no. Do you think do you think, because some analysts are actually questioning, and some of the people being surveyed actually question Senator Pacquiao's um, capability, experience when it comes to being the president of the Philippines. So I guess my last question is, what what do you think, or do you think Senator Pacquiao has what it takes to become the next president of the Philippines?
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't have volunteered my services as his campaign manager. He has served as one term as congressman and one term as senator. Now he's aspiring for president. He has what it takes. He was the one who put the Philippines on the map, on the global map. They know, uh, as you know, Pacquiao is more popular than even the Philippines itself, and he has spoken in foreign forums. He was invited to the Oxford Union and Cambridge to speak, uh, which I don't think the candidates had the privilege of doing. He has met with uh, uh, three presidents: presidents of the United States, Obama, Clinton, and Trump. Uh, he is very well exposed internationally, and he can bring in a lot of investments just from his billionaire friends who are willing to invest in the Philippines in case he wins. So we have a lot going for him. I myself, no, I'm 75 years old. I believe in him. Him being very much my junior. He's 43 years old. I believe in him, and I believe that he is the righteous leader that the Philippines has been waiting for. If we lose this chance, I don't know. I don't know when another candidate will come to lift us out of this downward spiral.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Buddy, for joining us today.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity of hearing us out.
Okay. So
Okay.
again, that was Buddy Zamora, the campaign manager of Senator Manny Pacquiao. I am Aika Rey, and this is Rappler Talk.